around. I know we still have a lot of people on the way, but I have some speakers that are anxious to talk to you guys. And then where is Dan's right there? Gonna be a little shaky, right? We good? We are going to open with the pledge to the flag. Our flag today is held by one of my junior rifle shooters, so that's Dan. Go, Dan. Okay, ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go, Dan! Woo! And we're going to also open in prayer with Pastor Art.
Good afternoon. Before we pray, I'm going to have these two young ladies come up, Anne and Mary. In the Old Testament, when God wanted to gather his people together for a special occasion, he would have them blow these instruments. These are called shofars. They are ram's horns, and they're announcing in a very, very loud way that we're calling our attention to Almighty God. Ladies? And now let's pray. We turn our attention to you, Lord. We're gathered here today because many years ago, you put it on the hearts of certain people that human beings had certain rights. Lord, you put this idea into the hearts of these men, that our rights didn't come from a government. Our rights did not come from a king or any despot, but they came from you.
Yes.
And that those rights were to be secured by governments. Those rights included life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And after a terrible war, Lord, you also put it on their hearts to enumerate certain of those rights. And among those rights was the right that we could keep and bear arms. Lord, we look to you today. We know what's happening here, and you know what's happening. But we're not giving up, Lord. This is your battle. You are still able to do things that are impossible. And you can turn the hearts of people.
Yes.
Lord, that you, by your Spirit, would hold our legislators to an accountability of their role in securing the rights for we the people. And if you agree with me, would you all say amen?
Amen.
Oh, say it louder.
Amen.
There you go.
I want want to thank everybody for coming today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brenda Jacob, and I represent a whole lot of the gun community. It's something that I've been part of my entire life. I was blessed to have good parents and taught me young how to come and stand up for myself right here in this very house. So I'm happy to carry on that legacy for everybody. Today we have a good lineup of speakers that you will see have different views. But what we're trying to achieve here today is we're trying to refute all of the misinformation. I know that a lot of you have seen the press conference that was held here on Tuesday, and all of the data that they're using and the twisted propaganda. We all know that not to be true because we know that we're a good community, and we know that as Second Amendment supporters that we are valuable to this state. We're valuable as far as conservation, we're valuable as far as economics, and we're valuable as far as making a foundation for our youth. And you know that we are very committed to our youth and do as much as we can to give them a strong foundation. So we are going to have a nice lineup, and we are going to, for the press, we are going to be able to have the speakers available over here to the left afterwards. So if you would like to get any of their information, you're welcome. We'd also like you to give us your email addresses, because we also put together a press packet so that we will be able to share with you where we get all our data. I know that the anti-gunners will be disappointed to hear this, but we don't get our data from NRA. We actually get our data from concrete sources like the FBI and the CDC and the NICS checks. And so we get concrete data, and from the Uniform Crime Reports. And so many of you know this, we do not get usable reports from the state, so we have to do public records requests to get all of the information that we have. So it is actually court data that we get. But because it is LGBT month, we are going to open with Alan, and he's from Log Cabin Republicans.
Thank you, Brenda. My name is Alan Gibberti. I'm the president of the Log Cabin Republicans, the Rhode Island chapter. I'm here to speak on the Second Amendment, the right afforded to all legal, law-abiding Americans to defend themselves and their family, not just from individuals who wish to do us harm, but also from a government full of unaccountable bureaucrats that are actively working to impose their will on we the people. As a gay Asian American, my position is not a unique one, but the Democrats would like you to believe that it is. Democrats like Congressman David Cicilline, who would like you to believe that people like myself are safer if we're not allowed to own a firearm. The hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance that spews from the hole in this man's face is astounding. In one breath, Congressman Cicilline will tell people like myself, gay, Asian, that we're under attack, while he enjoys the security of armed protection, and he actively works to take away the right of people like myself to legally defend myself and my family. Why? Because these politicians don't care. Well, right now they do, because it is Pride Month. The Democrats, they have no problem going full woke and proclaiming themselves the saviors of the LGBTQ plus community. I, for one, am not going to partake of the progressive alphabet soup. I'm not going to be waiting for the Democrat cavalry and hordes of social workers to arrive and take care of myself and be responsible for the safety of myself and my family, and I'm far from alone. In the past year, there's been a 145% increase in firearm purchases in the Asian American community. More than 19% of the gay, lesbian, and bisexual community own firearms. And you contrast that with the straight community, where firearm owners total around 37-38%. The LGBT community is an armed community because we know that useless legislation such as hate crime laws do not deter hate crimes, and they're only passed to placate an uninformed population and just to instill in them a false sense of security. What deters hate crimes is a homosexual with a gun, period. This is reality. Instead, we're forced to listen to virtue-signaling progressive politicians drone on about the systemic racism and homophobia, when the reality is that it's their proposed gun control legislation that is racist and homophobic. It is the very legislation that is a direct threat to gay and Asian American communities. Taking away the rights of marginalized people to defend themselves is the real systemic racism. Democrats would like nothing better than to have people like myself dependent on the government for my safety, all while they move to defund the police. The creation of a community dependent upon government for safety only accomplishes one thing: re-election. How ignorant do they believe that we are? And to question any of it, any of the hypocrisy labels you as some type of racist radical. Not only do we have politicians attempting to make gun laws with zero knowledge about firearms, but they have no desire to educate themselves. You have the mayor of Providence, Mayor Lorza, believing the problem is due to easy access to fully semi-automatic guns. The ignorance is staggering. When you have elected officials blaming gun violence on the environment, on asthma, you have to shake your head at the idiocy. When you look at the rise of violence and shooting here in Rhode Island, you have to ask yourself which of the proposed gun legislation would have prevented it. None of it would have. The only people affected by any of that legislation would be law-abiding gun owners and criminals. They would get a pass. And like the other crime-riddled states, it's the same criminals who are given the pass and then sent back on the streets to do it all over again. Perhaps we should ask Rhode Island House Judiciary Committee Representative Jason Knight, who by night advocates for gun control, but by day works to have charges like felony gun possession or unlicensed firearm dealing charges dropped or pled down. Perhaps if Lord Farquaad had decided to enforce the laws already on the books, we would see a drop in gun crime. But then again, how lucrative would that be? So my fight for freedom continues on. You are your own first responder. You are the help until help arrives. In a country where there are millions of legally owned firearms, people like Rep. Jason Knight are willing to punish law-abiding citizens, throw the most vulnerable of society to the wolves, all to placate the mob. The moms who, instead of demanding for action, should be demanding for an education and focusing on the actual issues that cause gun violence instead of lying to the American people. And speaking of ignorant lies, you have Linda Finn for the Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence. She wants me to believe that I can call the police faster and get them to respond to an attack than it would be for me to actually access my own legally owned firearm. The stupidity is palatable. You tell me I'm a victim and there's nothing I can do about it. Listen closely. I am not a victim because I choose not to be. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month, and I am proud. But I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be an American who just happens to be gay, who happens to be Asian. I am an American. My rights are absolute, and I can think for myself.
Thank you, Alan. Next up is Susan Wynn. "11 years ago, I stood on the steps of this State House as leader of the Rhode Island Tea Party with the purpose of encouraging average citizens to be engaged in their communities and to demand accountability and transparency of their elected leaders. Our focus was limited government and fiscal responsibility. That pales in comparison to the extremist, far-left agendas of our current office holders in this building behind me. My activism did not come with any special credentials or prior experience. I was a mom. I saw a country and a state I didn't recognize, and I felt compelled to try and make the future better for my teenage sons. I never imagined that I would be back 11 years later fighting a more aggressive battle, one that is threatening my very liberties and my freedom. I chose to purchase a firearm 10 years ago when gun control measures reared their ugly head under the Obama administration. I educated myself, received training, and I take my firearm ownership seriously. To me, being a firearm owner isn't about statistics. It's about me taking responsibility for my safety and that of my family. I don't want the government limiting my choices, and neither should you. This package of gun bills is doing just that. Let me ask you a question. Gentlemen in the crowd, your moms, your wives, girlfriends, and daughters in your lives deserve choices when it comes to their self-defense. And ladies, do not let the political elite, Hollywood types, or the media try to bully you, discourage you, or scare you from owning a firearm. Don't let them make you a victim. Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan. Next, we're going to have Karen Dalton, and she is from the Dare to Dream Ranch. And she does a fantastic job helping veterans, and we're so happy to have her here today.
Thank you. How many of you are veterans? Thank you for your service. So when you serve in the military, you have mission, purpose, structure, and camaraderie. Do you not see that here today? We just held a Wounded Warrior Project retreat at our facility this past Sunday. Through the sponsorship of the Rhode Island Federated Sportsman Club, Route 6 Outpost, Big Bear, and the NRA, we were able to have a day at the range for our veterans to participate. They left there going, this was the best day that I have ever had in a very long time. This is responsible ownership, responsible use, and we don't want people that aren't responsible dictating what we can and cannot do, right? So my daughter was somebody that was never going to have anything to do with guns, but she married somebody that was a Navy veteran. And when she started having kids, everything changed because they want to protect their family, they want to protect their home, and they want to protect their belongings. And we don't want people to dictate what we can and cannot do. That everyone gets a trophy is what's wrong, because everything is okay. How many times do we see on the news lately when somebody broke in and robbed a store or a home? Well, they were only robbing them. You didn't need to shoot them. Really? You're taking my belongings. We're protecting ourselves, and we have the right to do that. So we completely support what you're doing, and we hope, I look around here, I have friends here that are in this State House. We have Representative from Foster, Mike Chippendale, our State Senator, Gordon Rogers. This is my town, and this is who we represent. So thank you very much for having me here. Keep doing the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate you and all the hard work you do for our veterans. Next up is going to be Mike O'Neill from Second Amendment Coalition.
How's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? I can't hear you. Everybody doing good? All right. All right. So today, I really appreciate everybody coming out. It's a good showing. I'm glad everybody's here to protect their rights. I want to touch on a couple things today. One is the Attorney General, Peter Nerona. They had a news conference the other day, and he made a comment that 89 guns were bought and sold to felons, and he couldn't prosecute the guy who sold the 89 guns. I think that's the most ridiculous statement ever. You know, when you fill out your federal form, it says, are you buying this for somebody else, or is it for you? And if you lie on that form, you know it's a felony. So you could charge the guy with 89 felonies. He also references, high-capacity magazines. He can't charge anybody with that because there's no such thing as a high-capacity mag. If you have a Glock 17, it comes with 17 rounds. That's a standard magazine. You have an AR-15, comes standard with a 30-round magazine. That's the standard magazine. So it's all this misinformation that they put out there that it's really disingenuous. Also, he made a statement prosecuting, dropping the charges on the criminals. We've had a big debate about this over the years, and he's been dropping all the firearm charges and plea bargaining. Now, we knew that for a long time. That's why Representative Casey had passed the bill for the reporting bill, which would have the Attorney General actually send over all the information and for what the disposition of the cases and how everything was going. And of course, he's not giving us the information, so now the bill has to be more directly rewritten so we can get the information we need. But the other day, he did make a statement that on the federal side, charges are dropped, it's plead down, just like in his office. at the majority of the time. So here it is. We have assault weapons ban that he wants. He wants a school bill. He wants high capacity magazine bill. But he's not charging the criminals. He's not prosecuting. He won't go to trial, but he wants to sit there and make us criminals.
He needs to be voted out.
That is true. He does need to be voted out. That is absolutely 100%. So when he's making that statement as far as the false narrative, that's what he calls it as far as plea bargaining, it's not a false narrative. You do your job, you prosecute, and then guess what? Little Johnny gangbanger won't get out of jail so he can go and murder somebody the following week. So, it's a little frustrating that, this is the type of attorney general that we have. He stated, like again, the plea bargains and by not prosecuting. And then I love this one the most. He discussed that a 223 round could go through a back windshield and the front windshield, and pistols can't do that. And so, he obviously doesn't understand ballistics, where if you take a 223 and you hit a windshield where it's going to fragment before a 9mm is going to fragment, because it's a small round. So again, he's just trying to placate to the moms and trying to basically lie to everybody. So, now we get on Linda Finn, which Linda should have been named Karen. Don't be a Karen. So Linda Finn says that 80% of Rhode Islanders want these bills. Well, there's only 600 people in her poll. We have 12,000 people who signed that said they wanted their rights, they wanted to keep their rights. So I think 600 to 12,000, I think we got them beat. And every time David Cicilline goes out with a poll on Facebook, everybody knows this, we vote against his assault weapons ban, and 5 hours later he takes it down, and of course we screenshot it, and we're at like 90% against it and 5% for his bill, and it's happened multiple times. So all these, this information that all the Rhode Islanders want all these bills to pass, it's incorrect. So, again, the Attorney General refuses to convict anybody, but he wants to sit there and ban everything that we own. Linda Finn claims that Massachusetts is safer than Rhode Island. Well, I looked up in 2019 before I came here today, and there was 146 murders in the state of Massachusetts. And we only had 25 in the state of Rhode Island, because usually we're one of the safest states in the country, and only 15 were with firearms. So I beg to differ on her stats on that one, and she's really great at lying. So, it's really, it's tough year for us because we haven't been able to get into the State House, and now it's only open from 9 to 3, and they're still doing business without us. It's frustrating. What the progressives don't understand is there's a lot of veterans. I served, my grandfather served in World War II, my father served. There's a lot of blood in this country that made this country what it is. So I want you to remember this. To survive, we must stick together. If we stick together, we will survive. We got a lot of work ahead of us. We got an election coming up. We're going to need all your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. I just want to point out that the poll that's done by Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence, right on their website, says that they polled a whole 600 people in Rhode Island. But I'm here to tell you that I have almost 12,000 signatures from law-abiding citizens and gun owners that say enough is enough and we do not want any more anti-gun legislation. So I think our numbers are a little winning. Not to mention the fact that in 2020, 51,369 new background checks were done, and so far in 2021 alone, 20,426 have been done. So I think that trumps the 600 that they're toting on their website, because that's almost 72,000 new guns that we have purchased. And just to break it down, because they want to push the all-white male narrative. Well, just to put in perspective, 40% of the firearm sales were first-time buyers. 58% were African Americans and minorities, and 40% of that are women. So they better look out, because I don't think we fit their narrative anymore. Our next speaker is Daria Bruno. A lot of you know Daria. Daria does a fantastic job teaching women and helping. So come on over, Daria.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. It's good to be back in front of a microphone. It's been a while, but I probably know me from years of doing radio. B101 went way back in the day. HJY, I think I was a total radio gypsy. I was on every dial, every station, and then most recently did the Gun Talk show on WPRO. And I decided I wanted us to really devote my time and effort into my teaching. So that's what I've been doing for the past like 10 years now that I've been teaching professionally. I did get off the radio a couple of years ago. So thank you for being here today and getting involved. The fact that you're here today is very important. It's important that we are gathering in solidarity to fight together. You know it, and we all know it, and it's what's important. We're in the battle of our lives to keep our firearms not only on a national level, but right here on a local level. And this is not new news, folks. This has been going on for decades, a slow drip for years against our God-given constitutional rights. Yes, I said rights, because if you think this is only about our Second Amendment, it's not. It goes a lot deeper than that. They want to completely shred our Constitution. The slow drip has now ceased, and the fire hose is wide open. They are not even subtle about it anymore. They admit who they are and what they want. And that is nothing more than to move fast and move on a broad scale like we've never witnessed before. They want to take away our freedoms and our liberties. Yes, I'll say it, they utterly want to shred our Constitution. When they get up to testify, the first words out of their mouths, "We're not against the Second Amendment or hunting." Please, lies, all lies. They are against all of it. They'd love to use our Bill of Rights for toilet paper. I'm not kidding. They lie. Don't believe them. We, the people, are supposed to be in charge. We, the people, are supposed to be the guardians of our Constitution. And we, the people, have elected officials, although that's questionable in the last election, to be the gatekeepers of our freedoms. It appears that many of our politicians have no interest in protecting that sacred document. It appears many of our politicians are not speaking for we the people. They're speaking for themselves and their private interests, whether it be to gain financially for their campaigns or feather their nests, or most likely both. They love the prestige. They love the power. They need the power of the almighty dollar to keep them here. And most importantly, they need to disarm us. You think I'm crazy? Do you doubt me? Pick up a history book. You have to look at the motivation. Look at the groups that support them. Look at where the money is coming from, and you will find out who is pulling these politicians' strings. These guardians who have been elected to protect our Constitution, who are there to uphold their oath of office, are doing nothing of the sort. These people are activists, posing as elected officials. Their goal is their collective agenda, and that is not to execute the will of the people. It is solely to further their agenda. They have totally abdicated their responsibilities. They have a bigger threat. They have become a bigger threat to the safety and security of our public, of this nation. This is a total inversion of what should be happening. They're supposed to speak for us. They don't speak for themselves. Have we forgotten what the word representative means? You know what? I'm gonna go here, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of pushback from this, but I don't care anymore. The fight's on, folks. When Joe Biden says white supremacy is the biggest threat to our national security, I believe he's talking about his own people. Yes, they're white, they're supreme, they are elite, but most of all, their policies are endangering the American people and in some instances even getting them killed. We don't have to look any further than the handling of the pandemic and all the information that's coming out now. Why should we believe anything they say or do that's acting on behalf of the safety and security of we the people? Every institution in America has been absolutely corrupted, to Hollywood, to elites, to academia, science. It's not hyperbolic to state that every institution of importance in America that can lead the way and call power to truth has been absolutely corrupted. And we're supposed to be relying on our representatives to speak the will of the people? Well, if we're looking to our elected officials for leadership, forget them. The only people we can rely on is us. We, the people. We are responsible for the truth now. The truth tellers are all of you. You've been lied to over and over and over again. These corrupt politicians who are pushing a very dangerous narrative and agenda, an agenda that's getting people hurt and killed. Now's not the time to throw up your hands and concede on anything. Any bill, any new gun law, that will not help, but in fact will hurt the citizens of Rhode Island. They get nothing. They have enough. We have plenty of laws on the books that don't even get enforced. We have solid, hardcore evidence of that at every turn. Go to Representative Gordon Rogers' Facebook page. You'll see examples of it. And by the way, I can't lump Rep. Rogers and a handful of other politicians that are here today I'm lumping them into the bad people, because these are the good people. They're definitely fighting for we the people. As a firearms instructor, over the last 16 months in particular, I've seen a dramatic increase in the amount of citizens wanting to get armed. You know who these people are? Well, you can take a look around, but it's not the usual suspects. The usual suspects are the ones the anti-gunners and the politicians like to pile on. You know, the white male clinging to his gun and his Bible. No, people. That has all changed and has changed dramatically. My main clientele right now is mainly Black, Hispanic, and Asian women and men. They're genuinely frightened by what's happening in our society right now. They're frightened to the point where they don't even want to let their children out of the house to play in the playground or the park anymore. They tell me this. This is why they're coming to me. I'm not making this stuff up either. Here's verbatim from a young Black Hispanic woman who wrote in her letter of need to the Providence Police Department to acquire a concealed carry permit. Here's what she wrote. I am a very well-respected member of my community, and I am a trusted personal care provider. COVID-19 has been a real challenge, both health-wise and financially, but I have persevered and have become stronger. These are indeed challenging times, but none that we give up on. Additionally, as a resident of Providence, every day I realize there is a need for more safety in my community. I definitely do not support defunding the police. If anything, I think they need more funding, especially in lower income communities, to protect those at risk of being victimized. Sadly, over the past year, 2020, with uprising political conflicts, racism, and alarming sex trafficking rates, navigating through this community alone as a woman can be extremely fearful and intimidating. Being able to secure my safety while out in the community conducting my financial business and in my financial home is extremely important to me. And that's just one of many letters that I have read from people looking to get concealed carry permits, and it's mainly a lot of minorities. There's no appetite for gun control right now. Our politicians are not listening. They're not serving the best interests of their constituents. They're serving their own interests because after all, they feel like they were elected, so they're smart, they know better than everybody else. That's not why they are there. They're supposed to represent we the people, whether they like it or not. Their actions which are in direct violation of what we the people want, is getting people hurt and killed every day. The polls are out, people. Biden can't win on gun control. According to a Rasmussen poll, Biden's handling of gun violence draws disapproval from 86% of Republicans, 56% of independents, and 37% of Democrats. From this Rasmussen poll, 76% of all likely voters support the Second Amendment and the right of Americans to own firearms. 76%. We're talking nearly 80% of all voting likely, the people that are likely voters. Nearly 80% of likely voters say, keep your hands off our guns. Reported over last summer, there was an absolute surge in new gun owners throughout the nation as a direct response to race riots as Democratic-run city councils and mayors throughout the nation completely abdicated their law enforcement responsibilities. It's widely reported that at the end of last summer, there were over 5 million first-time owner background checks completed through NICS, 58% Black and 40% women. That's 5 million. Estimates are now, from March of 2020 to now, that there's approximately 20 million new gun owners in the United States. Legal gun owners. You can be absolutely sure that gun control is a losing issue for every single political candidate who wants to push this agenda. The scholar Abigail Cohn wrote a book about America's gun culture and has documented the incredibly rich and diverse constituents of America's gun culture. She dispels myths that American gun owners are primarily backwoods white males living in the sticks, clinging to their guns and their religion. Remember Obama's stereotype of us? But in a point of fact, gun enthusiasts culture is actually made up of all income levels. It's represented by all races. It's attracted by both men and women, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, transgender. As a matter of fact, she says that one of the most popular tours in Hawaii, of all places, we know gun grabbing Hawaii, is actually a gun tour for tourists. It's a great book, read it. Abigail Cohn, a really good read, one that anti-gunners should look at if they want to understand why Democrats' poll numbers nosedive whenever they try to go for any gun grab. The name of the book is called Shooters, Myths and Realities of America's Gun Cultures. Read it. Good talking points in there, so when you're talking to your friends and trying to educate them, you'll have some backup and some facts. Look, people, now's not the time to quit. Okay, this country is worth saving. There's no walking away, there's no quitting, there's no compromise. What's going on right now is absolutely a total disgrace. We have the facts. We know that an armed society is effective. We know the guns in hands of law abiders is a great equalizer. We, the people, are supposed to be in charge. We, the people, are the guardians. Don't forget that. Stand up, do whatever you can do, talk to people every chance you get, educate them, back up your positions with facts, something the gun grabbers never do. We need to be the ones who give power to the truth. And in closing, to quote a saying I saw the other day, I don't know who to give a hat tip to, so it's not my words, but I thought they were very poignant. It's no longer our job to wake up the sheep. It's time to wake up the other lions. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Daria. Next up, we're going to have Mike Chippendale. As for those of you who don't know Mike, he's a very strong Second Amendment supporter, and he's a representative for the people in the House.
Good afternoon. Does everybody hear me? Can you understand what I'm saying? Well, I just had to make sure because the definition of words have been changed, if you haven't realized it. You know, we have common sense, gun reform, and none of it is common sense. We have high capacity feeding, and it's not really high. We have all sorts of words that are changing. The lexicon is changing to suit their agenda. I'm going to paraphrase the great communicator Ronald Reagan when he said, "It's not that our liberal friends are stupid, it's just that they know so much that isn't so." And I think that quote really encapsulates a lot of what we've heard from the previous speakers and what is going on in the building behind us. If we went around, as in church, and did a collection and you all gave us the lint out of your pocket, the collective pile of lint would know more about firearms and firearm laws than the colleagues of mine who are putting in this ridiculous bullshit. You know, there comes a time when we have to question the reality in which we live, and we're at that point, folks. This is the first time I'm seeing the public in this building, and this session is damn near over. That upsets me. That should upset everyone here, as I'm sure it does, because I can't hear what people want. They can't hear what people want. These bills shouldn't be going anywhere right now, except into next year's hopper when we reopen and the public can come in here and tell us what they want. You know, I'm going to wrap it up because we have so many great speakers. Honestly, I think everybody needs to hear from everyone here because we have a great, diverse crowd of people. But I urge you, and I know the urging is almost rhetorical, but do not give up the ship. Do not give up your guns, pun intended. Do not give up this fight because we are on the right side of this issue. We are on the right side of history. We have facts behind us. We have actual common sense behind us. Don't abandon that, and we will be victorious. Please, thank you so much for being here today. God bless America. God bless the great state of Rhode Island.
Thank you, Mike. John DePietro wants to say a couple words. I have to say, he's been very, very helpful in helping us get the word out, so I want to thank him for being our voice. And I also want to thank Pat Ford, because he helps be our voice, and Matt Allen, and a lot of the other ones that have brought us on their program and helped us to share our voice, because that's the problem, we're not being heard, and we've been working very hard to be heard this year, and thankfully we have a lot of people that are stepping up and listening to us.
Right. All right, let's have a big hand for Brenda, who's the leader on this. Let's make some noise out here. Let's see those flags flying. This is what I call a peaceful protest, am I right? Where has the violence been in Providence? The violence has been with the illegal aliens and the gangs, not the patriot legal gun owners out here today. Let's hear it out there. We are sending a message today. We're not going to let the progressives take away our guns. This is not socialism. The people are fighting back. Let's hear it. Last time I checked, this is not a socialist repeat. This is still the goddamn USA. Let's hear that chant. USA! 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 Round of applause for all of the reps that are fighting the legal gun owners. This is a time to make a statement. We're tired of the crime. We're tired of against the war against the police. We are not racist. We are not supremacists. What I'm looking at is a sea of American patriots that are ready to fight back. Stay involved. Cheer on your reps. They work for you. And before long, we're going to have the rightful president back in the White House. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, John. Our next speaker is Jessica De La Cruz. She's a senator, and she's another strong advocate for the Second Amendment community. We love you, Jess.
I know I'm going to knock that over, so I might as well just move it now. Good afternoon, Patriots, friends, and Rhode Islanders. Thank you for coming out today. As Brenda said, my name is Jessica De La Cruz. I'm a state senator in Rhode Island. I represent the best part of the state, Burrillville, Gloucester, and North Smithfield. I just want to thank you for coming out, because every year you come out in droves, you come out thousands of you, exercising your First Amendment right to protect your Second Amendment right. And every year I see those numbers, and you outnumber the anti-Second Amendment crowd by hundreds. So thank you for every year coming out and exercising those rights. On Tuesday, several lawmakers stood on these very steps at this State House advocating for curtailing your Second Amendment rights. Those same legislators took an oath to protect your constitutional rights. On Tuesday, powerful lobby groups with deep pockets joined those politicians with slogans like "Moms Demand Action" and "Common Sense Gun Control." But like Mike was saying, Mike O'Neill, we actually have a piece of legislation that's common sense. Some of them put in by Senator Rogers, some of them by Rep. Mike Chippendale. And one of them is that the AG actually report gun stack crimes instead of hiding the facts that concealed carry permit holders do not commit crimes with firearms. And I say, how about prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law if you're caught using or possessing an illegal firearm? How about not politicizing the office of the Attorney General, but using the office to protect our constitutional rights? The AG stood on these steps on Tuesday and said that he could not prosecute straw purchases, but that is a lie. He can, he should, and he could prosecute under the current laws. And to Moms Demand Action, I speak to you today as a mother demanding action. You do not speak for all mothers. I and countless other women who know that firearms are one of the best ways to ensure our safety and that of our children. I'm all for women's equality, as you know I'm standing here, and a firearm is the greatest equalizer for a woman seeking her personal protection. A distinction to be made is that our movement will always be rooted in facts over feelings. Again, facts over feelings. So here are some of the inconvenient facts for those who do not understand our point of view. As a freshman in judiciary, I sat through countless hours of testimony. And interesting, one piece of, it was during the abortion debate, but a piece of legislation came through with, a survey, excuse me. And you know, dead last on that survey was guns. And they were asking in the survey, what is the most important issue to you? Dead last, guns. You know what was number one? Infrastructure, education. And we're failing at that as a state. Yet we have lawmakers that are making firearms a number one issue. So we should listen to the people. That is not an issue which we should be putting our attention towards right now. Everyone says to follow the science, and we're told to follow the CDC guidelines are reputable because they're reputable and they're interested in public health and safety. But here's the data from the CDC. Concealed carry holders have the lowest rates of crime than any other group of individuals, including law enforcement. We are told that we need common sense gun legislation, and for that, we should turn to the supreme legal document of our nation. The one nation that gives us our political framework that protects the citizens from the government that would try to trample on our rights. It says clearly, in black and white, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Friends, we should not back down. As a state senator, for all of you, I will continue to advocate for our rights, and we will not cower or be fearful in the face of emotional arguments. As President Eisenhower once said, we are not descendants of fearful men. Fellow Rhode Islanders, stay bold, stay courageous, because our cause is just and our motives are pure. Thank you, God bless, and God bless Ocean State.
Thank you, Jess. We have Representative Lima here today. She's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Brenda. Hello, Patriots! Are you ready to fight for our constitutional rights? Oh, come on, the other group the other day was louder. Are you ready to fight for our constitutional rights? Much, much better. Patriots believe in God. Do you believe in God? Patriots believe in our flag and in our country. Do you believe in our flag and in our country? Patriots believe in the Second Amendment. Do you believe in the Second Amendment? Okay, I heard that one. I guess we're all patriots here today then. You know, the other group is trying to take our power away. In fact, they literally tried to prevent us from rallying by refusing electric power to be heard. So I guess they were going for a twofer. They wanted to take away your First Amendment rights and your Second Amendment rights. But what they don't understand is that they can never take away our power, because our power comes from the great document known as the United States Constitution. And nobody will be able to take that power away, right? Now, to paraphrase the words of another great patriot who even had the power to part the Red Sea, the only way anyone will ever be able to take our power away from us, from the United States Constitution, is to pry it from our cold, dead hands. Now, it seems that I and some of my colleagues have been targeted by the other group because I have a different set of values and because I stand up for what I believe in. Yep, so it seems I have a target on my back, but somehow coming from them, it doesn't concern me much because I doubt they can hit a target. Now, I want to thank you all for coming out here. You know you got to do more. You made it here, but you also got to get out and vote. You got to get your friends out and vote, your relatives. Vote for those candidates who believe in our flag, our country, and the Second Amendment. Can I hear you again? Let's fight for our constitutional rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. For anybody who's just arriving, we have a sign-in sheet because we want to track the numbers of people who come, because I have a feeling we have a few more than were here on Tuesday. So please make sure you sign in. So our next representative is Representative Camilla Villa-Wilkinson.
Good afternoon, Rhode Island. It's my pleasure to be here representing the great city of Warwick and, more importantly, representing my 2A community. I want you to know I am sick and tired of all the stereotypes. As an Italian American, I'm tired of the stereotype that we're all mafioso. The Godfather was not a documentary, it was a film, okay? As a female veteran, I'm tired of the stereotypes of Private Benjamin. I was a veteran, I retired from the Navy. I wasn't looking for cocktail hour when I was in the Navy. Again, it was a film, it's a Hollywood depiction, it's not a documentary. And when people look at excerpts from Scarface, Say Hello to My Little Friend, that's not the 2A community. Anyone who thinks that it is a moron, quite frankly. I am sick and tired of people who don't know anything about our community writing laws and trying to put a stranglehold around our rights. Ladies and gentlemen, when we had the virtual gun night this year in the session, and it was on Zoom, we had over 100 witnesses who had 2 minutes to speak about over 20 different bills. Now, I'm from New York, and I can't even talk that fast. But I was very gratified to see all of the written testimony that came from the Second Amendment community. because it's important that not just those of us that believe in two-way hear from you, but all of the others who don't know a glue gun from a .45 caliber gun. They don't have a clue, and what's worse is they don't want to be educated. So I had someone come up to me yesterday and say, listen, I understand that you're unhappy with the idea of 10 rounds being high capacity. What's your view about 14 rounds? So I said 14 rounds of what? 14 rounds of tequila? 14 rounds of scotch? What are we talking about? And he said, well, what if we look at 14 as the number for a high capacity? So does it sound to you like it sounds to me that they're just in front of a dartboard and picking out numbers arbitrarily? That doesn't make any sense to what they're trying to do. I mean, when they talk about the safe storage of guns, they want to tell us what we're supposed to do as legal gun owners in our own homes to protect our homes. And I don't want the government in my home. I don't want the government in my home. I don't want them in my bathroom. I don't want them in my bedroom. So I will tell you that I was a late bloomer. I didn't start shooting until the age of 15. I used to go shooting with my father when we lived in New York, and every Thanksgiving we had a tradition of going hunting, and we would go in upstate New York. And it was time with my father that I always cherished. So when I'm sitting next to my fellow legislators and they're making ridiculous comments about how could a gun possibly be part of an American tradition, I don't know whether to scream, laugh, or pull my hair out, quite frankly. Sometimes I want to say, you know what? I don't think that I've got the energy to educate you, especially when you have no interest in really understanding what the truth is. And the truth is that people with a concealed carry permit shoot with more frequency than the municipal police, and they're more accurate than the municipal police. And they should feel safer around us. Someone has confused the opening theme of Dragnet to protect and serve with what they think municipal police do for us. Because if I have someone coming into my house, I'm going to take care of business. I'm not going to wait for the neighbors to hear a scream and call the police. And what are they going to do? Come with a chalk and make an outline? No. I'm here to say that as a woman, as a veteran, as an American, I will stand and protect my family and what is mine. And anyone who decides that they're coming through the front door in Warwick at my house is going to be met with something that they're not going to want. And I do believe in gun control. I've got a steady grip. I want to thank you all for being here. Please do not give up the fight. Continue to contact your elected representatives. And let me tell you that it's really important that you put your address, because what they'll do is they'll check and make sure that you're a registered voter, because they're not going to want to turn their nose up at a potential vote. And I'm going to leave you with one last thing. When you have elected officials come knocking on your door with their palm cards, don't just ask the softball question, do you support gun rights? It's easy enough for them to say yes and then run. Ask them how they intend to support gun rights in the face of so many legislators who are anti-gun. Make them tell you how, not just yes or no. All right? God bless you all for being here. God bless America. God bless Rhode Island.
Thank you, Camille. Our next speaker is Frank Sakosha from the Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to see everybody came out today, enjoying the weather, coming out to make sure we have a lot of people at this rally to show the legislators that we want our Second Amendment rights protected. I'm going to give a big round of applause, thank you, to our Rhode Island team that's fighting for you, the Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition, the Federated Rhode Island Sportsmen's Club, Rhode Island Rifle and Revolver, and Rhode Island Firearms Owners League. These are the people that are out there working for you, fighting for you. None of these people get paid. Every one of the people fighting for you is a volunteer. Unlike the Moms Demand Action and the Bloomberg people who are getting paid to trying to take away your rights. So you need to make sure, sign up, please get involved, let them know that you're going to help and you're going to have their back. So when we're up the State House, we know everyone here is going to be fighting right alongside of us to protect our rights. Seems like every legislative session we have to come back out here and we have to show the legislators the actual number of people in Rhode Island that are firearm owners and want to protect the Second Amendment. You see the Moms Demand Action, the Everytown people, they have their rally and they struggle to get 30 or 40 people there. They don't represent Rhode Island. You people represent Rhode Island, and the legislators know that. They see the numbers. The numbers send out an important message to the legislators that you can't trample our Second Amendment rights. We're here, and you're going to have to answer to us. You have to hear us. You have to see how many people come out when we have a rally. Now, we all constantly hear the anti-gun legislators up here saying we need more gun control. Look what just happened last week. Look what happened the week before. Look at these other states, what's happening. They keep saying we need more gun control. I say, and so do the people that are standing here today, how about no? How about enforce the laws you already have on the books? Our own Attorney General was here the other day talking about how he pleads away these gun charges on these criminals. And he dares stand here and say he needs more gun laws so he can do his job. Maybe we need somebody that actually can read the statutes and prosecute these criminals. Take a look around for the people that are here today. Everybody standing next to you, they're your friends, your neighbors, your family, relatives. This is the Second Amendment. This is the firearms community in Rhode Island. You represent Rhode Island, not the Bloomberg people, not the Moms Demand Action. Maybe they should go back where they came from. I want to give a special thanks to all the women that came out here today. The Second Amendment is also a woman's issue. Don't let the Moms Demand Action sell you their lie that because you're a woman, you have to be a victim. That's a lie. You are not a victim. A properly trained woman with a firearm is just as effective at protecting their family and loved ones as a man is. And to the men that are here today, you've got a little job to do. Make sure you get your spouses, make sure you get the ladies in your lives involved also, because they need to be involved in this. They need to have a voice. They need to come up here and tell the legislators, we're here too, and you're not taking away our rights. Just want to make sure everybody that's here, we do have a sign-up sheet, because you know the fake news media is going to say we had a rally and about 30 people showed up. So we want to make sure we have an accurate number of people that showed up. We also have yellow flyers. You need to take one of those yellow flyers. It gives you information on how to contact your representatives. You need to make sure they hear from you. One of the biggest things that you can do, biggest thing you take away from this rally, is to get involved. Getting involved is simple. It's easy. Pick up the phone, send an email, write a very simple 1 or 2 paragraph letter, and tell these legislators, I'm here, I vote, you're not taking away my Second Amendment rights. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you, Frank. Our next speaker is Blake Filippi.
Thank you. Hey, yellow is your color, people. So I'm not going to repeat the things that have already been said. It's dangerous giving a politician a microphone, but I'll be brief. You want to be relevant in this building? It's showing up is important on days like today. No one can deny that. But you want to be relevant and affect change, you need to be relevant in elections. It's that simple. If you're not out knocking on doors, finding candidates, donating money, running yourself, or supporting those who are running, who support the Second Amendment, you're not going to get the job done. It's that simple. You need to get involved. It's that simple. And frankly, it is such a small price to pay to defend the amendment that defends all the other ones. So I'm not going to belabor it. That's the point. Donate money, run for office, knock on doors. If you're not doing that, you're not relevant in here. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. Our next speaker is Tanya. Tanya is a small business owner in Rhode Island, and she is going to explain to you a little bit about the small business. And I want to say that I'm a little disappointed that our governor, being a small business advocate, has overlooked our community and all of our employees and all of our revenue that we generate for the state. So bring it on, Tanya.
Good afternoon, all. I'm a little short. Thank you, everyone who have made it out today. My name is Tanya Calandra. I'm a lifelong Rhode Island resident. I'm a young woman, and I'm a small business owner in the firearms industry, and I am appalled at some of these bills that they have introduced. First of all, I am bothered that our Congress crammed 20 bills into one hearing and only allowed us, we the people, to speak for 1 minute and 15 seconds. Through public testimony, we are supposed to have our voices heard. And by our representatives and senators limiting public testimony so drastically, they effectively silenced law-abiding citizens. Well, today, we are not silenced. No. I want to start out with something very basic, something a lot of us who've been in this community for a long time know very well: the misleading terms used by the progressives. AR doesn't stand for assault rifle, it stands for armor light rifle. Assault is an action, and as far as I know, an inanimate object cannot perform an action. Semi-automatic versus fully automatic. Semi-automatic means when you pull the trigger, 1 round will fire. Fully automatic means when you pull and hold the trigger, the firearm will continue to fire until you let go of the trigger or you run out of ammunition. You know, almost every firearm purchase is a semi-automatic firearm because fully automatic firearms are already illegal. Yet the left is consistently using terms in an attempt to confuse and fearmonger people, and a lot of them, they're not even aware of what they're trying to ban. We've had someone say we should ban semi-automatic machine guns. Can you please tell me where I can get a semi-automatic machine gun? I would love that. A semi-automatic, fully automatic machine gun, I'd love one of those. You know, being in the firearms industry, I have seen firsthand more and more women become involved in firearms, especially after last year. Many of these bills put law-abiding citizens in a disadvantaged position over a criminal. Us women, we're already what criminals would typically see as an easy target, so these bills really do make me question our safety if passed. Criminals don't follow laws, hence being a criminal. If Congress passes a ban for magazines over 30 rounds, this would mean only criminals have access to magazines over 10 rounds. What about us? What about the law-abiding citizens? We'd be limited to 10 rounds? That doesn't seem like a fair fight. Another bill being introduced is to require you in your own home to store your firearm in a locked safe. Does anybody see anything wrong with that? You know, when someone breaks in, Excuse me 1 minute, robber. Let me just go unlock my legally obtained firearm from my locked safe while you shoot me with your illegal firearm. Yeah, not happening. You know, the assault weapons ban defines an assault weapon based on features and accessory of the firearm that make it look scary. Well, some of these features and accessories that make it look scary actually make the firearm safer, especially as a woman. A telescoping stock makes the stock adjustable. I'm only 5'2", so I don't have the longest of arms. Being able to shorten the stock allows me better control of my AR-15, increasing the optional safety. A pistol grip on the front allows me to hold in a vertical, comfortable grip to be able to control the barrel of my gun without having to wrap my hand around the entire handguard of the barrel where I can't get a solid grip. So these bills that are actually creating restrictions on attachments and features that increase the safe use of firearms. Not only do these bills impact us as individuals, but these bills have an economic impact as well. They're going to push people to make firearm-related purchases online versus in person, supporting local Rhode Island-owned businesses. You have to look at last year. We have lost so many small businesses due to the government restrictions from COVID. We have successful businesses here in the firearms industry in Rhode Island that are tax-paying businesses owned by tax-paying residents. Local businesses care. Nobody could have told me sooner. Come on. Sorry, I'm short. So, we've lost so many businesses over the last year due to government restrictions from COVID. We have successful businesses here in the firearms industry, and they are tax-paying businesses. They're owned by tax-paying residents. Local businesses care about our community, promote gun safety, hold firearms trainings for all levels of shooters, and many offer free trainings for basics for new gun owners. Companies in Rhode Island in the firearms industry employ over 600 people throughout the state. These are good paying, stable jobs, and today every job is important. Our state currently has an unemployment rate of 7.1%, meaning there are already over 38,000 people trying to find jobs currently collecting unemployment benefits. The firearms industry also contributes to the economy as a whole. In 2020, our firearm and ammunition industry was responsible for over $178 million in total economic activity in the state. Not only does the firearms industry create jobs, it generates sizable tax revenues for Rhode Island. Hear that? We're paying you. In 2020, the Rhode Island firearms industry paid over $13.5 million in taxes. Rhode Island businesses give back to Rhode Island. We need to support our local businesses, not push people away from local businesses, especially in such unprecedented times. These are just some of the bills that they're trying to push through this session. The same senators and representatives that want to restrict our Second Amendment rights are opposing the bills that would reveal firearm crime data and increase firearm safety. Well, we are out here today calling you out. We want you, our senators and representatives, to see that we the people, we do not want what the progressives are pushing for. We are here, we are tax-paying, law-abiding, voting citizens, and we stand for our Second Amendment right. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Nick Grasso from the Federated. Me and Nick and Frank and Brenda and all the rest of them have been working years and years together. He's a good guy. Let's give him a good applause.
Thanks, Mike. Over the years, I've worked with so many of you. To everybody who sat on my board, thank you so much. There's one guy that's never gotten any thanks, but he's really the godfather of starting all of this years ago. And Charlie, you're the one person that I want to say thank you to, because you taught your daughter, who's become a tremendous leader of this organization, a tremendous leader of this community. A couple years ago, we had one of the best days of my life here at the State House. We turned out almost 5,000 people, and the Capitol Police said that we made a record that night, the biggest showing ever. In my hand is what I consider one of the greatest artifacts that ever came from this building. But Charlie, I'm going to have you uncover this, and if you guys remember this from several years ago, like if you want to just give me a hand. This sign started that the Second Amendment is not about hunting. And on this portrait is signatures of today's greatest patriots, and that's all of you. So as you guys know, we had a big banquet planned this last year. COVID kind of X'd that out. Next year, we're going to come back with a bigger banquet than we had planned before, and that very item is going to go up to auction to all of you to have a nice little piece of history. Brenda asked me today to come out and speak about this very topic. The Second Amendment is not about hunting, and we all know that. But today, so many people before me spoke about facts. And I love those facts, but the problem is this. For the past 11 years, we've been preaching these same facts, and they're not listening to us. So today, we're drawing a line in the sand. The Pittman-Robertson Act was founded years ago, which places an 11% excise tax on your guns and ammunition. Okay? Why are we going to draw a line in the sand today? Because the gun community is about to get woke. Okay? The left thinks that they're woke. The gun community is going to get woke right now, right here. Okay? The Department of Environmental Management receives hundreds of millions of dollars in funding from gun owners. Okay? Nobody else funds them. We do. Okay? I challenge all of you to go home and start doing your research. Know who your friends are. Know who your families are. Know which businesses you're patronizing. Okay? Because when you go to places like Big River Management and you see a bunch of anti-gun people that are bike riding through that management area, that's our land. Okay? When they want to go horseback riding in Arcadia, that's our land. They patronize our beaches. That's our land. You gun owners paid for it. And Dan McKee, I challenge you to put a new director in at DEM that's going to fight for the people and fight for the people who funds DEM. We're no longer going to sit back idle and watch an anti-gun director take over and squash us. They're giving away our land. The land that you pay for. Well, you know what? Enough's enough. Get your damn horses out of Arcadia. Get your bikes out of Big River. The gun owners are paying for it. 11% excise tax before it even gets to you. What do you think that markup is paid for? It's paid by you. Okay? That's damn right. Damn right it does. And not only does it belong to us, okay? We got to stop putting a face to the people that promote this agenda from the left. We want you off our property. You want to come here and restrict our magazines and take our ARs away? That's money that you're taking away from this state. You want to go bird watching? For you bird watchers out there, the ones of you that are anti-gun, here's a piece of news for you. The reason why you see birds is because of gun owners. Okay? That excise money goes back into conservation and allows you to go out in nature and observe birds. You get to enjoy our beaches because of gun owners. The money that comes into conservation is not being understood. And the amount of people from the left and their progressive agenda, they utilize what we pay for is not going to happen anymore. We're going to draw a line in the sand. You want to promote anti-gun agenda? Get off our management areas. Get off of our beaches. Get out of nature. Go hide wherever you want to hide because you don't deserve a piece of what we pay for. I'm going to leave you with this. I challenge everybody. I did it last year, and you know what? I lost my race. But if you can do it, get out and run. Stop putting a challenge to some of these people and let them know we're no longer going to stand on the sideline. Alan Waters, Bob Lancia, to all our reps that went inside that have already won, we need more of you to step up and run. Do it. And if you can't run, help somebody that can run. Like Blake says, donate money, get involved. I stood up here in 2014 and I said this, and I'm going to finish with this. You were all taught to go home and never speak about politics or religion. And that's the biggest crock of you-know-what that I've ever heard. Go home, speak about politics, talk about your religion, talk about what matters most to you. Because we need to stop patronizing those that no longer support us. They're a detriment to this country. They're a detriment to your rights. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be the one and only legend, and that's Charlie. Charlie's going to come up and speak. I haven't heard Charlie speak at a rally. This is going to be really good. So,
let's give him a round of applause.
Round of applause.
Thank you very much. I don't have an awful lot to say, but I'm very proud to be here today. Actually, it's a blessing to a person like me who for 50 years has fought this cause. Can you hear now? It's a blessing to stand here in front of people, when a person like me who's fought for this cause for nearly 50 years, and I see the enthusiasm that's here today. I see the fine group of people who are working for this cause. I'm very proud to stand up and speak to you because of this. When you come down here, of course I'm proud of my daughter Brenda. She's kind of like a pretty good kid. When you come down to a rally like this and you support stuff like this, you are actually yourselves picking up and bearing the torch of freedom in this country. It's your responsibility, just like it was our forefathers' responsibility. A lot of sacrifices were made by a lot of people. A lot of people died for our rights and for our freedom. And now you will bear the burden of that torch. And I hope God blesses you for that. And thank you very much for coming today.
Charlie Hawkins, everyone. I just want to say a couple of words about Charlie. Since 2013, when I got in the game, every time I would talk to him on the phone, he'd always give me good advice. This is what you got to do, Michael. This is how you handle it. This is what they're trying to do. He's been at this a long time. He's put in a lot of miles, and we really appreciate him. Charlie, thank you very much for your leadership. Our next speaker is Bob Lancia.
They said to be brief, so I'm going to be brief. But I was your congressional candidate, District 2, and you know what? We thought we had won. But in the early hours of the morning, it changed. But it changed for a lot of people. We had 22 people going into the House of Representatives here in the General Assembly. We had 10 people going into the Senate. My wife was running for my old seat. She was winning. Trump was winning. I was winning. And then it all changed. But you know what? I announced again in February. My tagline is, let's finish the job. And we are going to finish the job. And I appreciate what Nick Grasso had to say. Frank Ritchie's over there. We worked together. My wife worked with us. But I'll tell you, I'm proud to be wearing this yellow shirt today. And you know, I was a Navy chaplain. Volunteered at 40 going active duty. 3 right shoulder replacements are the cost of my career. But that's okay, we keep going. That's what we do. We work hard. But I gotta tell you, you're gonna need advocates here, but you're gonna need advocates in Washington. And I promise you, I will be your advocate in Washington. And I'm also gonna tell you, I've got a great photo of Mr. Langevin wearing an orange t-shirt. And if you go on my website later, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, you're going to see a side-by-side. Mr. Langevin in his orange t-shirt and Bob Lancia in his yellow t-shirt. Look for that. Get on my site, follow me, and I appreciate your help, your support. God bless you all. Thank you.
I love having a lot of options at the next election. So we got to remember these people. We got to donate to these people. We got to fight for these people. Our next speaker is Mr. Alan Waters, who's running against our buddy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Waters. I'm just a kid from the West End of Providence. I'm a son of an Army Ranger and Providence police on motorcycle. I can't fill his boots, but I have his heart, and I fight for all of you. I want you to know that I am a new member of the Massasoit Gun Club, Riverside, Rhode Island. I want to make a special thanks to my instructor, Paul Rigo, for helping me qualify. Thank you very much. I'm going to help, congressmen stay in their lane, but I know that people like myself and Bob Lancia, when we are the next congressman for the state of Rhode Island, we will not only fight for you up in Washington, D.C., but we'll come home and keep fighting for you and fighting for you to make sure that they don't change the laws on us, because this is about liberty, this is about our freedom, this is about our constitutional rights. So we have a small state. There's only 2 congressional districts. So the people in the first, yes, I want you to support me, but support Bob Lancia. And people in the second, support Bob Lancia, but support me, because we can do this time. Thank you very much. God bless all of us, and protect the Second Amendment.
Billy, did you want to say something? Okay, we're going to have another small business owner. He's from Big Bear. He's going to come over and he's going to tell us his experiences with the new demographic of new firearm owners.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right. Thank you, everybody. When I look out here, I thank God Carlos picked yellow, because it looks good. That's right. To get back to Blake's point, I ran for Gloucester Town Council. I won last election. Thank you. We have to go out there. We have to work for it. For what we're able to hold back here in Rhode Island with a small amount of people that we have inside this house right here is amazing. And it's amazing that we are all together. You are my brothers and you are my sisters. And we need to stay with this together. We need to fight together. We need to get into that building together. And getting back to the point of gun sales this year, women, thank you. And thank you for wanting to defend yourself. I can't tell you how many times we have held classes and the men are there. But what happens when they go to work? Right? Defending yourself is just as important. We can't always be there. And in a society that we are in right now, we're always in 2 different places, whether or not it's 2 different parents running 2 different directions. We have to take care of ourselves. And that's why get the education that you can from a plethora of amazing instructors, amazing stores, amazing people in this industry that want to work with you and be together. We all know that you shop everywhere and we love all of you. But the major thing is that you have to make an action to it. You have to get to that next level. You guys are all doers. How many people could have been at work today? Raise your hand. Right? And you're here. Right? We're not paid to be here, right? Who got paid to be here? Anybody? I know Andre's not paying me to be here. So, but in all seriousness, do what you can in your local towns. I'm very fortunate where I am in Gloucester to have Chip and Jess fighting for my rights. So I went to town council. But again, you guys are all doing your research. You're fighting for us. And on a small government level, I'm trying to fight for my neighbors in Gloucester. These guys are up here fighting every single day for us. We can't go into our buildings. They can't go into our buildings. It's important that we unify together and we get our message forward. I'm not going to bury you with any more, because all of the most amazing facts that you could possibly learn today were already said. So Brenda, thank you very much. And thank all of the leadership from the Federated, the NRA Association, all of them. They are doing so many things behind the scene that you don't know about, but you get to enjoy. So thank you very much. God bless, and God bless Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. I'm going to also let you know that Truth Radio has been here and he's videotaping the whole event, and that we're going to be playing this on our social media sites. And Dan's going to say just a couple words, and he's going to be sharing this. So we're going to need you guys to help us share the video so that other people can get out and see all the information that we have shared with you today.
I want to thank Brenda, Mike, and everybody here that's put this rally on, and thank everybody out here for supporting us. I've been working day and night to try to get people out here. And my platform, yeah, it's not very known in Rhode Island, but we do reach 128 countries. We reach all over the country, literally here in the United States too. And it's amazing, it really is. And we're letting the world know, the United States know that Rhode Island's not just a small little state. We are a big resistance. And the cool thing about this, that much other states can't say this. The cool thing about this whole thing, in here, in this audience here, we got the black community, we got the LGBT community, we got the Hispanic, the Asian, Latino community, we got Democrats, we got Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, and we're all united for one banner right here. Yep, we're Americans. So that's the thing is, of all race, color, and creed, I'm in Native American on my mother's side, but none of that matters. We're all here as Americans fighting for the same cause our founding fathers did 200 years ago. And the cool thing about this, we don't have to do that with bloodshed. Cool thing is we could be what we're doing here now, getting to these people politically, punching them in the teeth to say, well, you know what, you're not taking our gun rights. Now the Moms Demand Action Rhode Island, they label me as the Rhode Island insurrectionist because I used to work for Infowars.com for 6 years. I have an international national platform and all that. But the thing is, they don't understand that resistance is victory. And every one of you here, being here, you're taking part of history, you're taking part of history, you're all taking part of history to show that these people in the State House, they don't have a chance in hell. Tuesday, how many people are here? The media, the fake news out there, 10 and 12 in Providence Journal, made it look like they're the majority of Rhode Island. They support Rhode Island. Their polls, and I'm not going to go over the stats again, guys. They did a fine job doing that, okay? Their polls failed. They failed miserably. Their whole illusion is that Channel 10 back there. It's Channel 12, the Providence Journal. That's a whole illusion to the state. Exactly. Mainstream media is fake news, okay? And us independents, you got Pat here. Yep. You got Pat here, Pat Ford. You got well, these other shows here, okay? Great John DePietro. I'm almost forgotten the people's names here. John DePietro, Pat Ford. You got all these awesome shows here in Rhode Island that are supporting this cause, and we all need to stick together, man. And I made a call to every media across the state. You need to be here to show Rhode Island, regardless how you feel about gun rights. It's your right. If you don't want a gun, hey, it's your right, we support that, okay? But don't try to dictate what we can and can't do. And I called out all the media to be here. And the only ones that came out here, John DePietro, Pat Ford, and very few of us, Alan Gibberti from WBOB, myself, TruthRadioShow.com, and many other platforms on. But I mean, like, this is good stuff, man. You got great people here in the political spectrum. You know what I mean? The state representatives and senators that support us. You got Paul Rihanna here. He's running as an independent for governor. And you got all these people out here. All these great people out here. Every one of you, what you do is important. You need to understand that. Every one of us here, I'm nobody special. I'm not going to put myself up as somebody special, whatever the case. I'm nobody special. All of us individually are leaders on our own. And united together, man, they can't touch us. You know that. We know that. You know what I mean? Look at 2 years ago, we packed the State House, okay? The fire marshal said, he told me directly, the fire marshal, we've never had that many people in the State House, and made these people's blood crawl, okay? Boil, because to see all of us, to see of yellow all the way around the corner over there, down to the Veterans Memorial over there, you know what I mean? It made that blood boil and shake in their boots to see the resistance of the American people. And again, the testimonies were beautiful. Democrats, independents, we had one guy out there that said, I'm a complete liberal, but you know what? I believe in our Second Amendment. And the thing is, it's not about right versus left. The mainstream media needs to stop doing that. It's not right versus left. This Second Amendment is for me, you, it doesn't matter what color you are, even the Black Lives Matter, okay? It's for them too. It's for everybody in the state of Rhode Island, everybody in this country that's a God-loving citizen. a citizen of the United States of America. So the thing is, the Second Amendment is for all of us, okay? And the thing is, Political parties, we need to put that aside. And I love Trump, whatever, but this is not about President Trump today. This is about the Rhode Islanders, okay? It's not about Biden or nothing like that. None of them are gonna help us, guys. Every one of us standing here, we're gonna help each other. Plain and simple, and what Brenda was trying to point out too. You know what I mean? You need to get out and vote. You need to get out and run for election. And you know, I'm not the greatest speaker. We all know that. I mean, I make fun of myself when I speak. But you know what? I have a passion, okay? And I want to get my voice heard for liberty, for freedom, and for everything we're fighting for. Because the thing is, if we don't do nothing, people need to realize this right now. If we do not do nothing, okay, what are we going to tell our children? You know, these children over here come out and all that. What are we going to tell them someday? Oh, we used to have rights to defend ourselves. Now we got communists running our government, where that flag right there will be illegal eventually. Where any of these banners will all be considered as terrorists. They're trying to do that now in the White House, guys. And, you know, the stuff we've been saying for 20 years on radio. I got called, I started off right over there in North Main Street, 990 WLE. I started radio off there. I had the State House try to shut me down. The stuff we were saying 20 years ago, it is now a reality. I used to be called a conspiracy desk. I used to be called a nut job. Put your tinfoil hat on, Dad. And everything we said has come true because we knew the enemy. We knew how they were. And I'm sorry, I had to take up too much time. But
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah. So I just want to reach out to you guys and say I love every one of you. And no matter our differences, guys, political, whatever, put them together right here as one banner. That flag right there, United States of America, we're Americans first before anything. Remember that. So stand together, stand tall, and you are the resistance. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank everybody who came out today, and I want to thank everybody who helped put this all together today. I am so proud to be part of this community. I really need you guys to go back to the community. Oh, sorry, we have one more speaker. We have Jen Moffitt. She's our constitutionalist here.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm really late today. I don't know.
Greatness is greatness.
I know, I'm trying. We had a really busy day today, but I'm here because you guys are my favorite people in the entire world. I only got involved in this community just a few years ago. I showed up down at a city hall meeting to help out Daria. She put out a call asking for some help because Warwick was trying to push through a really awful fee just to for us to have the right to concealed carry. So I went down just to kind of like show some support. I had never spoke before, but upon hearing the nonsense I heard, I couldn't help myself, so I got up and spoke and kind of got the bug, and I kind of enjoyed getting up there and speaking my mind. It's not something I'm really shied away from my whole life, but doing it publicly was not really my favorite thing. But the more you do it, the more easy it gets, and the more you enjoy it. So I started coming down to the State House a little more often, started meeting up with a lot of people, and before I knew it, I met a few people in this community, and they kind of took me in and made me one of their own, and I can't even begin to explain what this community is all about. I mean, I really pity the people in the red shirts and the orange shirts because they don't know happiness. They don't know love. They don't know family. They don't know community. They've lost that piece of life. It's so sad. All they know is hate and bitterness and fear. They don't understand what it's like to live in harmony with everybody. They talk it, but they don't live it. We live it. This community, we are out, we are with each other, we're helping each other, we're showing up, we're doing what needs to be done. And not just on days like today, but every day, every weekend. Every single time I put out a call for somebody, for help, whether it's to deliver some papers or to show up to collect cans for the homeless or put backpacks together for our kids that are homeless. Everybody shows up and they do it willingly and happily. They don't cry about it, they don't whine about how terrible the world is. They just show up and they do what needs to be done. We are an amazing community, and I feel so bad because we get so trod down, we get so sad, we get so frustrated when we come to something like this and they lock the gates over there. Really? You think you're gonna keep us out? I just can't even. I mean, it's just one more way for them to discourage us from showing up and doing what we have the right to do. They have tried all year to hold us down, but guess what? We haven't. We've been working behind the scenes. We've been doing the things that need to be done. We haven't been hiding and crying and whining like they do. We've been working together. We've been communicating. We've been making friends. We've been showing up and doing what needs to be done. So they can lock the doors and the gates, and they can close the doors to the building, to everyone, to all of us in yellow, but clearly not to those on the other side. They can do all the things that they want to do to shut us down, but guess what? They never do. They don't shut us up. They don't stop us, do they? No, they don't. I don't know if anybody knows. This is a very bittersweet day for me today. We're moving to Georgia this week. I know, I'm sorry. That's going to be the first person I look for. You have no doubt about that. I'm only going to be a half an hour from the State House. I cannot wait to get there and meet everybody. But it's very bittersweet because this may be one of the last times I get to speak to you. But I need you to not stop. I need you guys to keep fighting. I need you guys to keep moving forward. I see things out there. This past couple of weeks, we have a mom who couldn't take anymore, who was sick and tired of being lied to by her schools, who just stood up and stepped out and did it. She didn't wait for everybody else, and everybody has been behind her, and she is on the national news now. She has gotten moms from all different towns to rally up and do the same thing. That is how it gets done. We have school council committees backing down, lawyers resigning because they're afraid of us. That's what our voice does. Our voice matters. Please, please, please don't stop. Don't stop coming out. Don't stop being here. Don't stop fighting. Because this is how we win. We are here. We are larger. Stop letting them think that we don't matter. They want you to believe that the women out there are scared. We're not. I can tell you right now, the women in this state are not afraid. We're not backing down. We're not meek. We are willing to stand up and fight for everything. Fight for our 2A rights. Fight for our children. Fight for our families. I don't sit back. I don't know who those women are. I am not a part of them. I'm not one of them. They don't speak for me. Nobody speaks for me. I have always spoken for myself, and I would hope that I can speak for everybody here when I say that they can keep on pushing, and we're going to keep on pushing back. We need to remind them that we know what they're up to. We know they don't know what they're doing. The other day, Nerona is on a radio station and admits he has no idea anything about gun stats. We don't track gun stats in this state, apparently, so he doesn't even know. But he's ready to stand up here and tell us he's going to sign bills to protect us from what? He doesn't even know what he's protecting us from. There isn't a problem in this state. Not with gun violence, not from us. Do we know where the gun violence is coming from? We absolutely know where it's coming from. But nobody in this building has the balls to say the truth. They do not have the chutzpah to stand up and tell everybody what's really happening in this state. But we all know what's really happening in this state. And we need to keep holding them to it. Keep emailing. I know it feels frustrating. I know it feels like you aren't being heard, but you are. They hear you. Keep calling. Just keep calling the speaker's office. Drive them crazy. The secretary knows who we all are now. She knows when we're calling. Keep at it. Keep calling. Keep emailing. Keep letting them know. We're listening. We know you don't know what you're doing. We know that you're just making up the rules as you go along. We know that these bills do nothing to protect our children. They do nothing to protect me and you. They harm us. Every single one of these bills has a negative externality. Every single one of them. We know what they are. We need to remind them of what they are. We need to remind them why it's so important for us to be able to protect our homes and our children and ourselves. I'm sick and tired of it. I don't know about you. I am tired and sick and tired of their nonsense, but that doesn't mean we stop. It doesn't mean we sit back. It means we keep fighting harder. We keep yelling louder. We keep talking louder. I will do everything I can. I know I won't be here, but I will try and do everything I can from there to continue to help. I will keep pushing. I will keep talking. I'll keep doing my lives to keep you guys engaged. We have to stay with it. You have got to keep fighting, because the second you stop is the second that they take over. They think they've gotten us. They thought they had the school committees. They thought they had our children. They thought we weren't paying attention. We didn't know what they were up to, but they were wrong. We proved this week that we can stand up to them, we can push back, and we can change things. It's not too late. I know it feels frustrating. I know it feels like they don't listen to you, but there are people who do. We have to support them. You have to support the reps and the senators in here who are standing up for us, because they're out there. There are plenty of them. You have got to support them. You've got to keep to them. Keep reminding them that you're here and you're listening. If you need to know what to do, reach out, ask for advice. They will help you. They will guide you to how to help. But we have to keep doing it. We just can't sit down. It goes against everything that the Second Amendment is about. Everybody here knows what it's about. We all know why it's there. We know why our founding fathers gave it to us. They entrusted it. Every single person out here wearing yellow, we don't get to enjoy that right unless we're willing to stand up for that right. They put it there for us, they gave it to us, but we have got to fight for it. And that is our right. And there may be a day when we have to take it, we have to do what it actually was intended. I think everybody here is ready for that. We don't want that to happen. We're not violent people. We're peaceful people. We're people who want to protect our families and protect our country. But if they keep pushing, I'm not sure what they expect is going to happen. I don't, exactly. I need everybody here to stay alive, stay focused, and stay paying attention. You've got to be involved. You've got to be watching what's going on. The people in the background here, they are working so very hard. They have done everything they can possibly do to pay attention to what's happening, to keep things organized for you so that you guys are prepared and you know what's happening. You've got to stay involved with us. You got to keep reaching out to us. You got to keep getting involved and listening, because we need to fight. We need to fight now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not next year. It's right now. This is the time that we have to fight. So we all have to stand up and we have to be prepared, because I don't think it's time to let go. I don't think it's time to give up. I know it's tough. This is one of those states where it just doesn't feel like it's possible, but you guys have held off a lot for a long, long, long time. It can be done. We just have to stay focused and we have to stay involved and have to stay. I can't thank everybody enough who showed up today. I recognize almost every face out here, whether from another rally or from talking on Facebook. I can't thank everybody enough for being out here. You guys are the reason that we keep fighting, and you're the reason we keep working behind the scenes. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep fighting, but you guys have to do your part. So please, please, please keep on fighting, keep helping us. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jen. You know, we have a little bit in common with Georgia, Jen. Hey, Jen Moffitt. We have a little in common with Georgia. A gentleman named Nathaniel Green. Okay, I'd like to introduce Representative Arthur Covesi.
Good evening. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. Those of you who know me know that I strongly support the Second Amendment. And contrary to what you may believe when you look at this building, you do have more friends and allies than you may think. It's important to keep those friends and allies there, because we are doing everything we can to protect the Second Amendment and to make sure that bills that do not have anything to do with fighting crime don't get passed. The majority of the bills that we're dealing with would not affect criminals, but would affect law-abiding citizens and law-abiding gun owners. So we have to make sure those bills don't pass. I know that sometimes you may get frustrated when you think about what goes on here. But don't get frustrated. There are people working hard on your behalf, and they'll continue to do so. But as some of the speakers said earlier, you also have to continue to do your part. You have to continue to be here. Your numbers have to increase. Your presence has to increase. And not only here, but on the phone and on the email to your own individual reps and senators to let them know how you feel about protecting the Second Amendment. And more importantly, you have to make sure that all the organizations that you represent, all the legal, law-abiding gun owners, increase their ranks and increase their participation in the political process. Because the day is going to come, if you don't do that, you pick up the phone to call an ally, you're not going to find anybody. So you're going to have to continue to do what you're doing. And we're going to have to continue to do what we're doing, to do everything we can to kill bills that only affect law-abiding citizens. It's important to note, again, that the majority of the bills we're discussing has no impact on crime or criminality, but affect you. And that's a very important distinction. That's the most important thing to remember. That and the fact that the Second Amendment is enshrined in our Bill of Rights, and that we have to protect that. Now, I think the last thing you want to hear is more verbiage from a politician. So, I'm going to end my comments by saying this. Nothing replaces participation in the political process. And there's nothing more important than each and every one of you spreading the word and spreading the message, the correct message, that the Second Amendment should be protected, and that all bills that affect law-abiding citizens and not criminals should never pass. I promised myself I wouldn't be long-winded because it's more important for you people to talk up here than the political office holders. But I'd like to think I've made my point, and I will only say this. We will continue to work on your behalf because you're in the right on this.
Thank you, Rep. I want to thank everybody who came out tonight. And if you haven't signed in, sign in, because we're trying to keep like a number going on how many people actually came out today, because we all know that we're beating the rally on Tuesday. I want to just emphasize that I think a part of the problem that we have as gun owners is that we're law-abiding, we don't brandish, you know, we mind our own business, we're not in anybody's face. But unfortunately, we're at a time in our life where that's what we're up against. So I really want to encourage everybody to start talking. You need to start talking about our community and how great our community is, how much we help veterans, how much we help the youth, how much we help everybody. You know, that's something that they don't think about. We need to remind them about the open space in this state. We need to remind them the revenue that we generate by the over 30 small businesses in the state that are based on the firearms industry. We need to remind them of the nearly 1,000 employees that are employed by these small businesses. This is not little. We are a huge, huge factor in this state. And people need to realize that we are valuable, we bring a lot of value to the state of Rhode Island, and we need to start talking about it, because I know myself a lot of times you have to walk into a crowd and you're afraid to know what to say because you don't want to be, you know, pointed out. But you know something, those days are gone, because if we don't start talking, they're definitely not going to hear us. The other problem that we have is money. We don't have the money. We don't have Bloomberg giving us millions of dollars. We don't have Planned Parenthood giving us millions of dollars. We are hardworking people and we use our income to pay for our families. But these organizations that we're up against are millions and millions of dollars. And they're paying their own salaries with these, and we can prove it by their tax returns. So we need to start making sure that we help to contribute the people that are defending us in this house. So as we're starting to send out notices and information regarding the candidates that are backing us, we need to step up and we need to help them. We also need to make sure that we stay invested in our youth, because I feel like that is one of the biggest problems that this state has when it comes to crime and it comes to the gang issues that are happening. There is not enough resources in the inner cities and the minority communities to give the kids the foundation that we are giving our kids in this community. So we're reaching out and telling them that we want to come to the table. That's what we're telling the governor. We want to come to the table, and we want to tell you that we are successful in raising our kids and good citizens, and we want to help these communities too, because we don't want them to be disadvantaged. And the biggest thing that we do not want is we do not want them to keep exploiting these communities and these kids to push their lying agenda. So we need everybody's help, and you guys are fabulous when it comes to helping. And I am so proud to be part of this community, and I am thankful for each and every one of you that took the time to come out today. And just keep on keeping up the fight, keep on calling, keep on emailing, keep on keeping in touch so that we can fight this negative agenda. Thank you, everybody. God bless.